how's it going? I just want to start off by saying happy birthday to the Pagan Perspective. You are now 3 years old, and if you were a child, your parents would probably want to murder you. Yay! So in honor of the Pagan Perspective birthday, as you guys have seen, we're doing asking questions about ourselves. So I guess I'll just start. So what is your name? The one you like to use on YouTube. Well, my YouTube name is The Worst Witch, and my real name is Patrick. I use the name The Worst Witch because it is, if you guys haven't seen the movie, a ridiculously horrible movie from the 80s, and it was my entire childhood. Like every Halloween, and I think every week after Halloween, I would watch that movie, and I just loved it. It has Tim Curry in it, Faruka Bulk, like from The Craft as a kid, just some amazing people. So that's why I call myself that, if you didn't know. Let's see. How would you describe your religious belief to our viewers? I think my religious belief would have to be eclectic witch. I don't know. I'm very folky. I do a lot of folk magic and herb magic. But my belief system stems from so many different things that I've just kind of picked at, and whatever kind of feels right to me, I just do it and follow it and kind of use it in my own kind of way. So I definitely say I'm just like an eclectic witch. I guess that's what you would call it. Okay, so childhood. What movie can you quote word for word? There's a lot of movies that I can quote word for word. I think the first movie that I learned like every little thing to was The Wizard of Oz. I used to sit at home every single day. Like when I would get off of school from kindergarten, I would literally put that movie in and watch it and watch it and watch it and watch it. So that's probably the one movie that's like word for word, no matter how old I am, I think that movie's still gonna make me cry. And then also, one movie that I'm really proud of is Hocus Pocus. I love the movie. I can recite like the spells down to a T. Like any spell from that movie, I've got it down. So pretty awesome. And I'll probably make a video of me doing that. So what cartoon do you still watch? What cartoon do I still watch? I mean, I watch a lot of cartoons. Like a ridiculous amount of cartoons. You have no idea. For like a grown adult who does not have a child, it's bad. But what cartoon do I still watch like from my childhood? I think like my favorite childhood show was Scooby-Doo. And this is like, I know Lucas is like mouthing it to me because this is embarrassing, but literally there's this new show and it's a new Scooby-Doo show and it is addicting as crap. And I don't even care what anyone says. I like watch it like it's addicting and I'm really into it. And don't make fun of me. So yeah, I grew up watching the Hanna-Barbera cartoons all the time, and it just kind of followed to then. So, okay, education. What word do you love the sound of? What word do I love the sound of? This is weird. I really like the word Constantinople. I don't know why. There is something about that word that I love. And that's a really weird question. I didn't read these questions before I'm doing that right now. So I'm just like, what the fuck? I mean, what the bleep? Okay, so what goals do you have for your education? And it says, I can talk about my religious education. Well, I feel like in the type of path that I'm on, I feel like that I'm constantly learning, and I'm learning something new every single day. So I think that one of my biggest goals is to take the time to really start learning something new. There's been a couple things that I've wanted to kind of dive into, something that's not quite, because I think my root structure is in herbs, and I've always been interested in them, and I've always loved them. But the one thing that I'm not 100% on is stones, like crystal grids, crystal healing, how to use stones properly. I've never really dabbled much into it. I mean, I know the basics, but I would really like to learn more about that. So that's one of my biggest goals, is just kind of like branching out and really learning everything that I can learn. So I think that's one of my biggest goals. Okay. Entertainment. What was the last sporting event that you went to? I don't go to sporting events, to be honest. I could not even tell you the last sporting event. There's a giant soccer field across the street from my apartment building, and I see them playing all the time, if that counts. What song was unique to your family growing up? So many songs were unique to my family growing up. And this is actually a really funny question because I was just singing a song trying to think of who remembered it. The song is called Torn, and it's a song from the 90s, and it's a woman singer, and I don't remember her name, and it's like, either way, when the song came out, I was in love with it. My mom loved it. My mom loved all that kind of music. And when my mom knew, I don't know, it's a long story. My mom knew this woman who worked on the radio, and she was playing the song for the station, and she announced mine and my sister's name. She was like, "This is for Patrick and Rebecca. Hope you guys love it." And it was really cool. That song, and then any song by Jimmy Buffett. I think when I was growing up, if we had a family event, whether it was in the summer or Christmas, there was always Jimmy Buffett playing, and it's just, I don't know, I think it was a 90s thing. Jimmy Buffett. And I still love Jimmy Buffett today. I don't even care what people say. Okay. So, what was the first thing you learned to cook? That's tough. I always, my family always cooked and baked, but I think the first thing that I really learned how to make was either macaroni and cheese or cookies. If that, I think it's cookies though. I think sitting there and making chocolate chip cookies with my mom and my grandma was probably one of the first memories that I have. Okay. What room in the house do you most like spending time in? Definitely either the living room or the dining room, and I have a fixation with dining rooms. There is something about them that I absolutely effing love. The energy that you get from a dining room when your family's all gathered around, it's like a joining place for everything that goes on in your house. When I was growing up, it was a place where no matter what was going on, we would try to have a family dinner, and I have 6 brothers and sisters, so it's really hard to get everyone together. But you just get everyone together and you do your work at that table, you spend time with your family, you have gatherings, so definitely dining room or kitchen. Okay, so I'm trying to go really fast because I don't want to run out of time, but I might have to do this over again. Where is the furthest you've ever traveled? Oh my gosh, I have no idea. I've traveled a lot. I've never traveled out of the country. I guess crossing the border to Mexico and Canada doesn't really count, but I honestly have no clue where the furthest I've been. Probably all the way down to the lower part of Florida, because that's kind of far, right? I don't know, down that way. What is the prettiest city you've ever been to? Well, I live right outside of Chicago, and I definitely have to say that Chicago is one of the cleanest cities I have ever been to, hands down. But I really also recently have just kind of fallen in love with Madison, Wisconsin, because Charlie, and I also really love Boston. So those are my top cities that I like. What is your ideal comfort food? I think my ideal comfort food is probably anything my mom makes, because my mom can make, or my brother. My mom and my brother, it's neck and neck there, but my mom makes the best ginger chicken stir fry in the entire world. And that sounds like such a non-comfort food, but no one in my family is Asian, but this shit is the best stuff that you will ever eat. And seriously, I love that stuff. Or probably my mom's broccoli cheddar soup. Broccoli cheddar soup. It's awesome. So you guys should try it sometime, or not. Okay, if you could have a drink with someone from history, who would it be? Well, I don't know. Lucas is making fun of me, but I think it would have to be Judy Garland. And like I said, growing up, The Wizard of Oz was one of my favorite movies, but I would watch old black and white movies and musicals all the time with my grandma, and that's one of my biggest memories with her. And Judy Garland was one of her absolute favorites. And I think Judy Garland was such a talented person, and also such unique. I mean, she had so much trouble in her life towards the end, but I think that it would just be amazing to just sit down and like pick her brain for, you know, a little bit. Okay. What in today's society do you think should be free but is not? God, I think there's so much that the society charges way too much for. I think that they're like, it's just ridiculous, especially on how much we like give celebrities money to do shit that is pointless. But I think schooling, like schooling for education, college, no matter what it is, schooling in general, I think that it should be free to everyone. I think that there's so many ways, whether it be computers, and the way that technology is nowadays, that we could be sharing so much information for free instead of having to pay people to teach. It's just, yeah, one of my thoughts. I don't want to get too preachy about it. Other than your own religion, which religions do you find interesting? All of them. I cannot stress that enough. I think religion is one of the most interesting things in the world. Whether it be, you know, Christian or Buddhist or anything, you can just pick a book up and start reading it on religion, and you're going to learn something, you're going to find something new out, and it's just so interesting how religion has affected who we are and the people we are today. Oh, and then it says, when was the last time you went to a church other than your own? I don't have a church, but I'm trying to think of the last time I went to church. I honestly have no idea. I can't even remember the last time I went to church actually, and like sat down for like a ceremony or whatever. Have you ever been mentioned in the newspaper? Ooh, I've had my picture in the newspaper for a play once, and I've probably been mentioned in the newspaper before. I think I was mentioned in the newspaper when my grandpa died, and probably my grandma, but other than that, I really don't know. What do you feel strongly enough about to protest? I honestly hate protesting, and I know I probably sound like stupid for saying that, but I think that protesting, although I just think there's so many better ways to put your energy out there instead of putting anger out into the world. And I think protests are such a negative thing. Now, if I did have to protest and if it was going on, I think that I would protest for equality, for everyone and everything, that people should be treated equally, whether it's gay rights or any other thing. I think that as long as it's a peaceful protest, I think that's awesome. So, okay, what is a single piece of technology that makes your life easier? What technology doesn't make life easier for you? I think the one thing that really makes life easier for me is definitely computers at work. I don't do much with technology normally, but I think about work, like my mom was telling me stories about when she first started work and how horrible it was, like everything was done by hand, and I could not do that. On the computer, I have everything right in front of me that I need. I click 2 buttons and it's done. Also, social networking like YouTube that can bring so many people together. Would you be willing to live off the grid without technology? I definitely think I could. Like, I think there's a couple things that I would want. Like, I mean, light, like electricity, I would probably need. But as far as like smartphones, computers, TV, I definitely think I could live without them. If you did not have to earn the money, or if you did not need the money, what would you do for work? Oh my gosh, I would definitely either do my photography full time, because I love it, or I would have my own store. And I've been in retail for a really long time, and I've been a manager for a long time, whether it's running a store or helping out running a store, co-running a store, whatever. So I'd love to open up my own store where it could kind of be a whole thing. Or cook. I think cooking for a living would be a lot of fun, like owning a cafe. Okay guys, so the camera ran out of memory, so let me start off where I ended. What daily activity bores you? I honestly think that the worst daily activity would have to be watching TV. And I know it's not really a daily activity, but it's something that everyone does. It's something that we kind of get caught into, and it absolutely kills me. Like, I hate it when people are like watching TV and you're like, oh, let's go out and do something, and they're like, oh, I'm watching my program. Well, that's what old people say, but in general, I just hate it when people are like, oh, I'm just watching TV, or you just sit there. I don't know, it just is so boring to me. What do you prefer, sunrise or sunsets, and why? I think that I prefer sunsets more. And the reason why is because the sun is so I feel like the sun is more viewable during a sunset. You can see it better. I'm not recommending you stare into the sun, but it's just more, I don't know, it just puts everything into perspective. And then as the sun is kind of going down, you see how powerful the moon is and how much it casts shadows in the night, and then you get to see the sky full of stars, and it's so pretty. I do like sunset or sunrises too. I feel like sunrises, I'm just never really up that early. I don't know, like, I'm never really up to enjoy the sunrise, so I guess I just like sunsets more because I experience them more. If you could have one superpower, what would it be? Oh dear. Okay, so I've had this conversation with so many people, and everyone normally goes for like flying, moving things with their mind, blah, blah, blah. I would go with energy manipulation. And for those of you who are like, what the hell is energy manipulation? Energy manipulation is, energy is all around us. Everything is made from energy. So I think that it would honestly be the power to have control over anything, you know? Moving things with your mind, controlling things, moving through objects, just all of that fun stuff. And like being able to harness that energy kind of as you would while casting a spell, but kind of just holding it in your hands and gathering energy. I think it's so awesome. And if you guys watch True Blood, I know this isn't her power, but the main character, Suki, who's a fairy, and if you don't watch the show, I'm sorry if you're like, what the fuck? But she does this thing where like she shoots energy out of her hands, and it's like all just light energy. I think it's the coolest, awesomest power ever, because she can do so much with it, and she can either use it for good or kind of like use it to hurt someone. So it's awesome, yay. So I think that is the end. Again, I want to say happy birthday to the Pagan Perspective. I've really enjoyed, I think I'm missing a question. I think there was a question on like, how long have you been a part of Pagan Perspective? I'm almost positive that's one of the questions. I think I missed it somewhere. Let me just try to find it real quick. Okay, so I have no, oh yeah, it's like literally in the first part of this thing, and I remember seeing it, but I didn't read it. How long have you been a part of Pagan Perspective? I think like 7 or 8 months now, maybe, probably. And I just have to say that I know I haven't really been on a lot, and I'm just a sub, and I haven't really communicated with a lot of people on the Pagan Perspective personally, like chatting back and forth. But I do love everyone's videos, and I love hearing everyone's opinions, and I am so proud and so happy to be a part of a channel that I think has really changed the pagan community on YouTube, and has really been a home to so many people who have been trying to find answers for their own path. And I have to just say thank you to Kara for making such a wonderful channel, and thank you for everyone else who has participated from the first year all the way to the 3rd year. You guys are all amazing. Love and light to you all, and I will talk to you all later. Bye.